Devin, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Man, we're doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. How you feeling? We'll look back on Wyoming. We'll look forward to Texas Tech. But first of all, how you feeling? How's the energy? How's the body after 3 weeks of college football?
Yeah, no, the energy's up there for sure. The guys we've been grinding all year for to have these ranked games. These are the games we play for. So really excited for the opportunity and just it's gonna be fun.
Before we get to Texas Tech, let's talk about the Wyoming game. Let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. Let's start with the good. Your improvisational ability is something that all of us expected to be appreciating when we watched your New Mexico tape. And for the first couple of weeks of the season, you've obviously shown your acumen for extending plays, escaping a little bit of trouble, tucking the ball and running when you need to. You had a play in Wyoming against Wyoming that was hilariously awesome. The ball slips out of your hand. You know what I'm talking about. The ball slips out of your hand. You recover your own fumble. You pick it up. Now, it's a broken play at that point. Anything can happen. And instead of falling on the ball for a loss or having to throw it away for just kind of a neutral whatever, you find Larry Simmons in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. Tell me what you were seeing on the play. Tell me what happened with it slipping out of your hand. And, of course, how you came up with the best possible outcome.
Yeah, I was looking for one of my receivers on the left, and I kind of felt the ball coming out of my hand, but I still tried to throw it, and then it really did slip out. So, but I kind of just felt that I was protected when the ball came out. I knew the line was holding up. So, yeah, my instinct was to not dive on the ball, pick it up, and when I turned around, I just kind of locked in with Larry in the back of the end zone, and he shot to the sideline, and it all worked out.
Now, when you run back to the sideline, and your coach can talk to you in the headset or whatever, or maybe in film session, how does Jason Beck react to that play? I mean, a good outcome is not always like what you're coached to do, even if like you made up for the mistake. Was he like, all right, next time fall on it? Was he like, all right, that's cool, let's do it like that every time? What was the coaching staff reaction to that play?
Yeah, Coach Beck is the guy that he holds his cool all game. So yeah, he's just like, well, you made a play. That's kind of what I heard when I got to the sideline.
Oh man, that's a fun one. Let's talk about the maybe not quite as good from the Wyoming game. Offensively in the first half, you guys were moving the ball, but then kind of got bogged down a little bit. And it wasn't until the second half that things really loosened up and you guys got into the end zone a bunch of times. And it was strange because it's not like you were having to get enforced in your own territory and having to punt the ball away. Those drives ended with missed field goals, which is a special teams issue. But in your perception, in that first half, what were the issues with you guys kind of stalling out late in those drives?
Yeah, I thought, again, we're moving the ball perfectly fine. The yardage from first half to second half were dang near the exact same numbers. So moving the ball wise, we're doing a great job. Just capitalizing on those later third downs. The amount of penalties we had in the first half, instead of it being 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, we put ourselves in a lot of 3rd and 7, just longer third down situations that we're normally an efficient team. So just got to overcome those, but. I love the adversity that came with that. We got to see what our team's about. Just as a whole, our whole defense at halftime, they let us know that they had our back, and just our offense came collective, and we made sure we emphasized all those third downs when we got to the other side of the 50. So eventually we got it done, and it's a lot of confidence going into this week.
When penalties hurt you, right? I mean, coaches, that's the thing that drives most insane, but they're frustrating for players as well. And you're a de facto leader on this team as a quarterback. People are looking to you constantly. When it's penalties, what's the conversation like on the sideline? What can you do to help out with penalties, especially penalties that are not on you?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, you just got to lift those guys up. when you make a penalty like that, it's really easy to get down on yourself, and you can feel the eyes of other people looking at you. The biggest thing I try to do is just allow those guys to know you're in the game for a reason. We obviously trust you, so pick your head up, and the expectations that we have for you is high. So we don't expect you to do that again, and normally they get on top of it. So
on that same vein of lifting up teammates, especially after mistakes, Nate Johnson has proven to be a weapon for this offense already. And he had an unfortunate moment in this game where he fumbled as you guys were going in for what would have been a scoring drive. And it looked like, Dev, he was beating himself up. End of the bench, towel over the head, seemed real bothered by that situation. Have you talked to Nate about that? Is he doing all right? People were talking about him deleting his social media. I don't know if people were coming at him or whatever. Is Nate doing all right after a mistake that ultimately wasn't all that costly? I know he's a competitor. I know he's hard on himself. But that reaction, I was like, man, is he okay?
Yeah, obviously, being mad at yourself for a mistake, that shows a good sign that he does care about our team, and he knew just the situation. He lost us in that situation, and but yeah, I told him, you're a leader on this team. Don't ever show that to the crowd. Don't ever show that to our players. We're all looking at you. It's very hard to make a mistake and move on right away, but we're all here behind you. And he's doing perfectly fine. I talked to him literally the day after also, just to give him more confidence going into this week. And he just had a good practice the other day, so not too worried about Nate's performance at all. He's going to go back out there and prove the world that he's a baller.
No doubt there, and I hope he realizes that that's how everyone feels about it, but glad you were able to address that. Devon Dampier, Utah quarterback, is our guest here on the Sean O'Connell Show. Dishin with Dev, as we do every single week. So coming off a 31-6 Wyoming win, you guys climb further in the rankings. You're 3-0, and now the stage is set. Big noon kickoff, ranked Texas Tech team. You guys are, 16 and 17 in the rankings. A lot of people think these are the two best teams in the Big 12 Conference right now, and you're on home grass. You're on your home turf to take on this Texas Tech team. Give me your overarching, we'll get into the details of it, but kind of like the big picture. How are you approaching this game?
We're approaching this game like any other week. We're a very week-to-week team. We don't try to look too forward any games, and we try not to make any game, bigger than any other. So just going into it, same week of practice, same week of preparation. I think our coaches do a great job of the way we run things and just the amount of film and things we go over. So that's great on that side. And just for the game, Rice Eccles, you hear about it all the time. They cause opponents some problems when they come to our home. So very excited to have that crowd behind us going into this game.
What are you seeing from Texas Tech on film?
Those boys are fast. They're very reactive to just pull down runs and obviously pulling RPOs and just all that. So very talented squad, and I love competition, and we're definitely gonna have to compete for this game. So love that.
So on paper, there's a strength versus strength thing in this matchup. They've got one of the best defensive fronts in the country, at least on paper. Everyone's got to prove themselves, right? But your offensive line, kind of the same thing. We're talking top 5 D-line, top 5 O-line. That matchup is going to matter a lot in this game. How do you maximize the success for your offensive line? How do you address, the pass rush that they've got, the interior pass rush that they've got, how good they are against the run? It is, I think, the premier matchup of interior lines or of front lines that we have seen so far, at least for Utah and maybe in all the Big 12.
Yeah, just like me, my offensive line, they're very competitive. So they have no problems going into competition. They love that. They feed off of that. So I expect those boys to level up their playing level, just how good they've been playing during the season. I expect them to elevate their game also going into this. And Yeah, I mean, that's huge credit to Texas Tech as well. They have a talented group as well. So, I'm happy I'm able to have my legs, just in case if, one of my linemen miss a block one play, I can always help them out and use my feet. And, yeah, it'll be fun.
We saw in the Wyoming, like the closeout, kind of the Hunter Andrews wildcat, I guess you might want to call it, where you end up right going out and played wide receiver effectively. You're lining up as a wide receiver, you motion or whatever else, and there's the decoy opportunity in situations like that, but you're an athlete. Are you a good receiver? If it comes down to it, if there's trickeration on Jason Beck's mind, can you get up and pull a pass down?
Man, you know what? If going into these weeks, if I line up out there and no one, and they decide not to guard me, I wouldn't be surprised I end up getting the ball out there. But yeah, I could do it. Don't worry, I'm an athlete on that field.
Yeah, but there's athletes like every corner in the game is an athlete, right? Every safety in this game is an athlete, but not all those guys have ball skills. I'm asking about that specifically. Do you have ball skills? We know you could throw it. Can you catch it?
I can catch a snap. That's about.
That's all we need.
Catch a snap and maybe a little trick, maybe a little Eagles special, maybe a little Philly special.
James was just telling me Scott Mitchell, who played obviously quarterback at the University of Utah and in the NFL for a long time. Scott says that quarterbacks have the best hands on the team. You don't tell the receivers. Devin didn't say that. Scott Mitchell said that. Don't tell the receivers that.
Yeah, might get mad at me.
Speaking of your wide receivers, RD had 10 catches, almost eclipsed that 100-yard mark. You guys seem to have excellent chemistry. It took a week to get going. We didn't see a ton of it against UCLA. These last 2 weeks, he's been a lot more productive. How do you feel the growth of Ryan Davis and maybe more importantly, the whole room is going through 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think, the best thing about our offense, we just take advantage of whatever the defense gives us. And I think UCLA was more of a running week for us. And just, especially this past week, they played a lot of man. And, yeah, me and RD already have a year under our belt when I was starting. And I actually threw to RD quite a bit during my freshman year as well. So, basically, we really have 3 years together. So, we know each other pretty well. And just, yeah, he's so reliable. That's what we call him in the room right now. And just the rest of that room, those guys grind. The rushing yards we put up, you can't put those yards up without those guys blocking the perimeter. And obviously, when they get their chance, when the ball's going their way, they tend to come down with the ball. So I'm proud of that group and the way they're playing.
In your mind, this offense has been very productive, and those of us who followed Utah football for, decades now, it's like this breath of fresh air when you're talking about 500 yards of offense and you're talking about 6 and 7 touchdowns and the possibility of scoring 6 and 7 touchdowns. It's not what we're used to every single year with Utah football, but the level of competition has not been the same as what you guys are going to face. So in your mind, what is the biggest key to making sure that the productive offense we've seen through these first 3 weeks sustains itself against Texas Tech and into conference play?
Yeah, games like this, mistakes are a little bit more costly, and you try to make less of those. So, I wouldn't say every play matters more, but when you make mistakes against good teams, they tend to capitalize on those. So, just trying not to find ways to hurt yourself on that field, and I think we play a great offense together. Our boys are ready for this situation, so just go out there and do what we do best.
So with the big noon kickoff situation, right? It's a bigger television show. It's an earlier kickoff time. Typically, that means that star players on the teams get maybe an extra interview here. Have your media obligations changed this week? We appreciate you giving us time like we do every week, but as Utah football takes center stage nationally, has it increased your media workload this week at all, or will it?
The interviews have definitely kicked up a little bit this week for sure. which is awesome. I always use that. I always use my interview opportunities to just allow them to see the inside of our team and just see how special of a group we are. So I'm all for it. I love talking about my team and how special of a group we are.
So the Big Noon Desk, right? Urban Meyer. Everyone here very familiar with Urban Meyer. He was a coach for a couple years at the University of Utah. Brady Quinn, great quarterback, but that was like before you were born. Matt Leinart, same thing. Mark Ingram, unbelievable running back. But, I mean, we're talking about guys that were impacting college football a couple decades ago. How much awareness do you have of those careers, the highlights of those guys I just mentioned? Like, I know you're a football junkie, but I don't expect people to be football historians as well. How aware are you of these guys and what they accomplished and what they've done?
Yeah, well, I mean, you always hear about the NCAA covers, and some of the Mark Ingram was one of those guys in Madden. I used to use back in the day. He was a little cheat code when he was out there. So yeah, I'm very familiar with those guys up there. It's really special to hear that they know me and they know me by my name. That's pretty awesome to be in that position. And yeah, just keep getting better. That's my mentality.
Do you like the early kickoff time? I know we touched on this a little bit last week, but now it's a reality. Now you got, 6 a.m. wake up. I don't know what time the meal is, but you're playing football at 10 a.m. Do you like that?
Yeah, this will be my first time having a game at 10 a.m., but, our practices, spring and fall camp, we've had morning practices at 9:30, so, practicing early, playing football early is nothing new to me. Yeah, we're going to see how that is game time. I haven't got to do that, so first time.
These last 3 weeks, right, your star has kind of grown. Your celebrity here in town has elevated a little bit. This, though, is the biggest, craziest opportunity for that to really explode. You go out there, you have a game against Texas Tech. You make yourself even more of a national name, more of a household name here locally. What does it feel like? Is that opportunity important to you? I know that the priority for you is representing your team and winning the game, but this is reality, man. Like you can really do some things for yourself and for your teammates with a good performance here. That comes with pressure, but you don't seem like a guy who's too bothered by that. Just tell me how you're feeling with this national spotlight being on your team and because you're the quarterback on you.
Yeah, I try to carry myself very humbly. Everyone's on the same level. We're all children of God. So at the end of the day, we're all together as one. But yeah, I always love giving back to our community. We have one of the best communities. Especially just college fan bases. You hear about Utah and how loyal our fans are. So, it'd be awesome to win them a big game and allow them to celebrate that with us. So huge opportunity for sure. And, we're going to go out there and do what we do best.
Cannot wait. We will be there. We'll see you up there. Enjoy this whole process. Enjoy the rest of the week of preparation. Stay healthy. Do your thing on Saturday. It's been an absolute joy watching these first 3 weeks, regardless of whatever happens on Saturday. I know we're going to feel the same. So, Dev, really, really appreciate you taking the time, man. Thank you and good luck.
Yeah, always. Thank you.
Devon Dampier, Dishin with Dev, brought to you by Culligan Water of Salt Lake City. Experience the Culligan difference. America First Credit Union, Polylift Concrete Lifting and Piering, ARUP Blood Services, Give Local, Save Local. That's QB number 1